Good afternoon from India and Namaste. Welcome to my LinkedIn live show, Nothing Less Than Marvelous Tales of Winners, where every fortnight I'll be having remarkable guests on my show who will be sharing their stories. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking to a very inspiring young lady who has challenged disability, defied it, and is on a mission, vision, passion in bringing inclusion through adaptive clothing designed keeping in mind specific physical challenges people face. 2.5 years ago, I had the pleasure of organizing an event, Art and Pain and Emotional Connection, which was conceptualized by this wonderful young soul. And let us put our hands together to welcome this lovely young lady, my guest, Soumita Basu, from the city of Joy, Kolkata, India. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for being with
much.
us on my show, Soumita. It's such a pleasure to meet you here.
Yeah, I know it's just lovely to be invited. I was like, okay, I'm overjoyed.
Yes, super, super. Really, I'm so happy. And before we proceed, let me speak a little bit about you. Let me introduce you to my audience. So, Shomita is the founder of Zyenika Inclusive Fashion, which is to enable people with chronic illnesses, disabilities, and different body types to fulfill their basic need of dressing up with ease and dignity. She is an entrepreneur focused on social impact, particularly in disability and gender inclusion and livelihood. She started her entrepreneurial journey to innovate in these areas to meet the current gap. She describes herself as a solution seeker. Shomita started as a journalist and evolved to specialize in public policy, action research, program evaluations, and development communication. She holds a master's in development studies, specializing in governance and public policy from International Institute of Social Studies, The Hague, Netherlands. Shomita has been awarded the UNDP supported Global Honeybee Creative and Inclusive Innovations Award 2020, the Best Business Idea Award at Breaking the Glass Ceiling 2021 at US Council Kolkata, selected for the Netherlands Fellowship Program, Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs 2012 to 2014, Prime Minister's Rural Development Fellowship, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India 2012. Awesome. So, with I'm absolutely floored by all these achievements and accolades and awards that you've got. It's always a pleasure talking to you. It's always a pleasure. You are such a huge source of inspiration. I mean, I consider you as my friend, but I feel that friends can also be inspiration in a lot of way. And having heard your life journey in our, earlier conversations, in our earlier events, and having read your interviews, your articles, and blogs, it just amazes me how beautifully you have built your life over all the struggles and pain that you go through. And your cheerful temperament is contagious, I must say. It's absolutely contagious. It's super. I really love talking to you, Shamita. So,
Thank
I was
you.
going, pleasure, pleasure. So, Shomita, I have spoken to you, I know you, I have read your journey and everything. You were a trained Bharatnatyam dancer and
Yeah.
a working woman. So, what drove you to start designing adaptive clothing?
Necessity. So, so the mother of all inventions, I'm
Invention.
told. Um, yeah, so I was very convinced that I was born at a time when maybe this is how the universe responds to your wishes. I used to think, oh, I'm born at a time when anything that needs to be discovered has been discovered. Anything worth discovering, which is not going
Yeah.
to kill the planet. But then I fell sick and I didn't find clothes that I could wear. And that's when I realized that, oh, this needs work. So that's how I got into making something for myself. And by the time I made something for myself, I also started sort of being part of more actively a part of the larger community who have some kind of physical problem or the other. And I realized this is a problem that everybody is facing, but nobody is doing something about. At least in India, there wasn't really much happening. And actually, even if you look at it, even worldwide, I mean, there are a lot of people now coming together, but it's just not enough. It's not as many as there should be. You can just count them, and it shouldn't be countable. That's what, right? You cannot count the number of brands that are there in clothing otherwise.
Hmm.
So when in India, there's also that thing about, I think it's there everywhere, but here we do it at another level where we say like, adjust kar lo.
Ha, correct.
And I can't tell you how much I don't like it. I was like, nahi karna hai, adjust.
Absolutely, it's difficult when it's, you're not able to, and it's difficult to adjust. People have to understand the fact. Yeah,
But it's also mindset. I feel like adjusting is only about a mindset. So, and I don't have
you're right.
uh, a mindset where I would like to. So, it's not an adjustment anymore. It becomes a compromise. And I truly believe in like walking out of any compromises. I don't live in compromises. That's who I am. So of course I was not going to do that for clothes. And then I found the thing for myself, and then it was like an automatic. For me, it was an automatic switch. I was like, if I have a solution, it should be spread across.
Exactly. That's a great thought. And that's a great thought because it's not just for yourself that you thought about your clothing, that is easier for you and less painful for you to wear. But you actually spread your arms around and thought of all those people who will benefit from this inclusive, designing of their clothing. Because uh,
For me, it was
for
not
many,
even a thought because it was like it was so
it's a
obvious.
spontaneous. Yes, it was a really very nice, very nice. And I was reading and I truly loved something that you had mentioned in Reader's Digest. Okay, you wrote
Okay.
that fashion is not about the clothes, it's about you. How we dress sends a strong message about who we are. It's also
Yes.
about feeling good. When one is battling pain every day, it's easy to slip into sadness. And here you mentioned a phrase, and you mentioned dopamine dressing. what do you
Yes.
mean by that? I loved that word though, huh? Dopamine dosing.
It's not my it's not my word, but yeah, I
Okay,
loved it. So it is known in the fashion industry as dopamine dressing, which is
okay.
basically where you are. It's just like retail therapy. So it's
Hmm,
dressing therapy. You dress up in a certain way and you feel good. So it when you feel good, it sends those signals to your head, and you feel
hmm,
happy, and that's the dopamine part of it. And the one of the things that I always say is that if people are supposed to dress up and people are supposed to just show up and people are just supposed to feel good, then everybody should have that option. But
exactly.
there's a lot of people, it's not just the people with disabilities. If you think about people who have physical challenges, it's almost in every family we find one. You'll have a backache, you'll have a frozen
Yes,
shoulder, you'll have people with old age, you know all
yes.
of these people, they have all of us, we have a problem with dressing up. So to not address something like this.
Yeah, exactly. You are right, because you're very right, because this is what is inclusive. It's not just people who have special needs, who have some kind of disability. It's about everyone. Like what you said, that people have backache and all. Yes, I have, like, I have the problem with slip disc, or there are many people who have knee problem, or tennis elbow, frozen shoulder. There's so many things which can happen. So if they find get clothes which are easy to wear, which is less painful to wear, which looks good as well. So that's really
And more
wonderful,
importantly, which they choose to wear. So I
Yes.
have seen people who, let's say, have a back problem. They
Yeah.
start not wearing certain things because they can't get into them anymore independently or
Hmm.
painlessly, and then they start wearing whatever is left of the choices.
Easier to,
What should
yes,
that
correct.
be? You should dress the way you want to dress.
Hmm. And dress the way you want to dress the way you feel good, the clothes that you feel good to be, you feel confident. There are, like,
Yes, exactly.
it just happens. Your clothing, the kind of clothing you're wearing makes you feel confident. It sometimes happens with your hair. Sometimes you have the bad hair
Yeah,
day. If the hair is not right, you lose your confidence. So it's exactly the same thing. You wear something good, you feel nice, you feel confident. So yeah, that
absolutely. Yeah.
isn't it?
One thing I have never done is wear heels because I feel like I'm going to fall like at that moment.
Oh,
So every time I'm on heels, and that has always been the case. Nothing to do with my illness. I just never liked wearing heels, and there are lots of formal occasions where women are expected to wear heels.
mm, mm,
It's a part of the dress code, and especially in certain countries, in certain cities, if you're not wearing heels, you are not adhering to the dress code. I was like, if you either need me or the dress code figure out. I mean, I'll still dress formally,
mm.
so you cannot tell me heels are a part of the thing. I was still wear formally, so I did that, and it was always like if I am wearing heels, I'll not be confident because I'm always worried about falling off, so
Mm.
I would not wear it. So it's this kind of choice that I feel I should have access to.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely true. So, how hard was it to overcome the life-changing challenges that you face?
Who knows? Yeah, I'm not thought through it. Must have been tough, but
You know what? Why I ask this question is because my show is about tales of winners. People who have faced a lot of challenges and who have come out of it, so that if they can tell their stories, they'll inspire others who are still struggling and don't know where to start, what to do. And I have
right.
seen the way you have started your brand. On inclusion, it's something different, innovative. And obviously you thought of all this because you have faced some kind of challenges to try to embrace those challenges and come out of it and do something out of it. And that is the
Yeah.
reason why I asked that how hard it was to overcome the first challenge when you faced. How hard was it to accept that and come out of it and do something?
See, I think there are few things that run parallel when you have like a condition like mine. And I was not born with this condition. I got it in my late 20s, early 30s. So, and first, it's painful. So, there's a physical pain element to it. Second, with time, it was regressive. So, my problems in terms of mobility started coming in, and there was a time I was like completely flat in bed. So any conversation, I'm sitting and talking to you now, that was not possible. And I would be lying down and talking to you, but I would still be talking to you. So I think
That's the amazing part, that you are sitting and talking. That's
yes,
the
it
real
is, it
thing,
is.
isn't it?
So a lot of people do say that the recovery itself is kind of a medical miracle.
Mm,
And so one of some of the things that happen when you have a experience like this is, of course, you're physically feeling something, so you feel it's so heavy on you, you don't know what you're feeling anymore. I mean, a lot of people used to ask me, how do you spend your time? I said, where is the time? Like, where is the time to spend? Because I am
mm,
either doing some exercises or something, or I'm sleeping, because sleeping was a huge part of my recovery. And so I didn't have any time. And because I didn't have any time, I didn't have much time to think. And whatever time I did have to think, for me, it was very important to know how will I survive. It honestly wasn't even so much about how will I live and all that. It's those are higher order things. For me, it was a basic, like, how will I survive, and not just physically survive the illness, but also, if I survive the illness, then how will I survive the typical requirements of the food and the housing and everything. And in India, we don't have things like social security, so it was very, very important. And I know my family was supporting me, but I was also aware that I'm at an age where the family won't be able to support me for very long. uh, so for me it was always like planning ahead. And because that because I was doing that, I wasn't thinking of what I was going through as a hardship. I was focusing on what is it that I can do. Okay, so I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't, fine, fair enough, I know that. Then what is it that I can do, so that I leverage that and start building on it. So I was so busy doing that, I kind of missed out on the part where I was like, oh my god, I'm having a terrible life.
That's what is positive. This is what I want people to hear and the audience to hear, and people who are struggling through challenges. Exactly what you said just now. Sorry.
There
Exactly
are, of
what you said just
course,
now. Mhm.
also another parallel channel that happens when there are days which is really bad,
Yeah.
both physically or when you're not able to make the breakthrough that you want, and you feel like you're breaking your head against a wall that's never going to come down. And those are bad days. And I felt bad. I spoke to my friends, not to find a solution necessarily, but just to vent sometimes, and sometimes, of course, to
Yeah.
find a solution. And I would sleep again. Sleeping has been my favorite activity through the lows. So, because when you
Yeah.
can't solve something, I feel
Yeah.
like it's a good idea to keep a distance from it and just go through it, just go through the flow.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. And I like the part where you said that, there was this point of time where you thought there is no point in thinking of what I can't do. Think of what I can do and leverage on that. That's a beautiful thing, and it's very encouraging. And uh, people should ponder on this, because it is like, instead of thinking at challenges, because as we all know, and people always say, and we hear everywhere, that what we think we get, we attract from universe. So if we think a lot of only about the challenges, that I can't do this, I can't do this, you will never be able to do anything in life. What you have to think is the positive side. What is it that I can do? How can I leverage it? And you will just see that more and more things will come, start flowing in, that you are able to do, your capabilities, your potentials. The more you know about that, the universe just opens the door for you, and there is all those possibilities out there. So this is very encouraging, and I'm sure that it is really going to help the audience who will listen to this video. If not now, those who are listening, thank you so much. Ahmed Ali Khan, he says awesome. He loved it. And he's there. There are people online, and there will be many who will listen later because of the different time zones. People watch this later on, and there are some who are watching now. So it's really wonderful that we are able to connect, globally, and people get to hear all these uh, things, do something in their life, some positivity, some inspiration. So, Shomita, tell us something about your brand, Zyenika, and what are your plans going ahead?
It's an inclusive fashion brand, which simply means that we have something for everyone. It's irrespective of your body shape, irrespective of your disabilities, irrespective of your age. We create things that you can wear without any pain, where you feel like yourself. It's your choice. You choose to wear it, not because you're forced into it. And above all, it really lives and it's built on the idea of dignity. So we try to ensure that as much as possible it increases your scope of independent dressing. In case you have lost it because of some reason, you can get back to that. uh, and because it's built on the idea of dignity, it flows through the entire chain. It's not just for our customers, it's like for me also. It gives me my dignity back when I'm doing this, or it upholds my sense of dignity. All the workers that we have, it upholds their sense of dignity. And that's why we try to work with people. I wouldn't say we try to, we do. We work with workers, the entire team, or even the supply chain, who are inclusive, meaning that there are all kinds of people involved. Women who are survivors of sex trafficking, marginalized women, people with disabilities. They're all somehow or the other coming in to build the clothes that you are going to wear. So it's
Okay.
also a part of, their life journey. It Because I truly believe it cannot be just one way. It has to, the entire thing has to speak about your value system, not just the final product, but the entire thing.
Yes, absolutely. It's a complete inclusion of everything end to end,
Yes.
right from the very beginning. And that is what I really love about Zyenika and your thoughts that are weaved into that. It's just not about the final product. It is right from the root, right from the scratch, right from the raw material, the people making. Then it becomes inclusive in totality, wholesome.
Yes. So
So,
the
so
designs
when
are
I was,
also
yeah,
such.
tell,
Sorry, I just
tell
wanted
me.
to say that the designs are such, we then understand, oh, if you have a problem with your shoulders and you can't lift it, can you still wear a shirt without lifting the shoulder? Can you still wear trousers without having to bend down? And we have all these
Wow.
solutions.
Oh, lovely. That's really nice, because trousers means it's always about bending down to wear it,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So
So this is
there's no
something
need.
interesting to wear trousers without bending down. Yeah. I have also read there's something about in your interview, Happy Little Dress. Is it Happy Little Dress?
Yes. Yes.
HLD.
Little happy dress. LHD.
Little happy dress. Tell us about
Yes.
that.
Okay, it's a dress where you just pull in one shoulder. The other end is
Hmm.
completely open, so you just it after you put it on your shoulder, you just wrap it around. Actually, I'm wearing it right now, but I can't get
Oh,
out.
okay, okay, sure. So that's a
So
happy little dress, and you're looking so happy and cute in that.
thanks. So there is this part of it which is like this end which
Yes,
comes on top. This
yes.
cloak is completely free.
Okay,
It's an added accessory. So this
okay.
you just wear it on one shoulder and then you wrap it around. It becomes a one
Uh-huh.
shoulder dress. It's a wrap dress in a way. And
Oh
then
wow.
to stylize it and very often to also put it in the cultural context, I had this extra accessory on as a cloak. So
Oh wow, that's a great
now,
idea.
now you kind of show it off as a sleeve where you don't have a
Yes.
sleeve cloak. If you
Yes.
and gave it to, I made it the first time I made it. It was for a little girl who had cerebral palsy, and it was on her birthday. She was so excited because a lot of it that she could do herself. So that's how the name came about. It's a little happy dress,
Oh
and
really? So sweet. I
and
love
then
that.
then her cousin who doesn't have any physical condition as such, but she loved the dress, so she wanted it, and we
Okay.
made that for her again. And this one, I was just so impressed by her styling. What she did was, now this cloak, she would wear the dress without the cloak, she would wear it with it, then she would wear it, with the cloak going diagonally.
Oh, how
So
nice.
with
So
one
that's
hand
another
out.
innovative way.
Yeah, and
Absolutely
I'm like,
innovative.
wow. I love my customers. They're my co-creators. Like, I give them something and this is like an 8-year-old child. Okay, so I was
Oh,
like,
sweet. How nice.
definitely a little happy
You can
dress.
even have this cloak as this is like a cloth, a printed piece. You can even have lace if you want, or crochet
Yeah,
cloak. So
yeah.
different
The whole.
kinds. So
Uh,
it will show the one strap as well, and yeah, very
will the
nice.
rest of it also go? See, I'm
In
telling you, all
fact,
of you guys are better style.
I love this also, the little happy dress. I wish I could wear it.
You can. We shall get you one.
Oh, thank you. So
I've seen
being
you
a success,
model.
but tell me.
I said I've seen you model like lovely dresses.
Oh, thank you
So
so much. It's just fashion, I just thought for me, everything started late in life, after 50 years. And then I realized we all have the potential and the capabilities to do something in life. The only problem is we have that mental block, the limitations, I can't do this, I won't do this. But when you try, you actually are able to do it. Maybe you may not reach that level, maybe you reach this level, but we all can do it. So it was just whatever
what I
I'm doing
found
now is,
useful.
yeah.
Sorry. Go on.
No, I'm saying whatever I'm doing is I'm just testing different waters, and I see, and I'm enjoying that.
That's so nice, yeah. You know what? One of the things that you talked to me about hardship, and I feel this kind of loops back to that. When I started uh, thinking how to restart, so there was this 1 year of my life where I was doing nothing in terms of work, and I was feeling like I don't matter, because because our society has made us think that you matter only when you're working and when you're earning, so your entire identity is like connected to your work.
Hmm.
And I was feeling like I'm not doing anything. And at that point, I don't believe that anymore. I do believe that the entire process that I've gone through, I wouldn't if somebody says go back and change anything, I wouldn't actually. So because it's given me a kind of growth. It's fast paced the growth, so given that, I mean, why would I lose out on growth? uh,
Absolutely.
it's just a bit of physical pain that happened in the process. And what I started thinking was that I want to be useful, because that is what was hurting me, because I was thinking that I'm not. And you know what I did? The first thought I came to my mind of being useful. I think you've seen me, Alaknanda, that I had like really long hair.
Oh, yes, I
I
remember.
I chopped
I
them
remember.
off till my neck
Oh,
and donated it to the Cancer Foundation, because I thought I'm making a difference and I'm being useful.
okay.
And I thought, okay, if this is all I need to do, to keep growing my hair and keep chopping them off and keep giving it away and
And
grow, and
donating. How nice.
yeah.
It was such a
So
lovely thought, actually.
it kind of
Such a
calmed
lovely
me
thought.
down for a while. It kind of made me
Hmm.
feel like, okay, I even in the worst of times, there's something that I can do.
Hmm.
And then my
Wow.
friends came in together and they said, do you realize that every time we're in trouble, we actually call you? So you're being quite useful to us, so don't think that you're not useful. And then I
That's
built
it.
it up from there, and I realized that I will the mantra of my life, and it still is that I'll do whatever I can. And it can change from day to day. One day if I'm sick, I
Hmm.
cannot do as much. The next day I can do more. But I'll
Correct.
do every single day, I'll do whatever I can with
Hmm.
whatever I have. I'm not going to wait for something to come to me, or
With the available resources.
till
Yeah.
I get that, I will not do this. No, I have this, I'm going to use this. The only thing is that I'll do it now, right now. I'm not going to wait. And then that's it. So before I go to bed, if I ask myself the question, which I very often do, that have I done my 100%? It can be, it has to be my 100% on that day. It
Okay.
doesn't have to be 100%, a certain 100%. My 100% that day, have I done it? And
Hmm.
if the answer is yes, I'm happy, I'm going to sleep in peace, and that's what matters. The rest is not in my control. So I'm going
Hmm.
to do everything that's in my control. And I
Correct.
realize that there is a lot which is in my control. And then there's the entire universe which is not in my control.
Correct.
So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to worry about what I can do. And that's
Correct.
enough. And that actually gave me a lot
Absolutely.
of peace.
Absolutely. My God, I really love listening to this. Really love listening to this, because at the end of the day, we should be happy, with what we are able to and do with whatever resources we have. Our journey begins from within us. We are
Yes.
responsible for our own change. All these external factors are just superficial. They don't help us in our journey. They don't help us for our internal peace or our internal happiness. Everything begins from within. So, and pain is not always physical pain. People go through emotional pain, mental pain. There are so many things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
about embracing this pain and moving ahead, because once you embrace that pain and move ahead, that pain is forgotten. That pain can't do anything. The pain has to bow down in front of you.
I
You
would
know,
actually go another step and say that once I started interacting with my pain, because at one point I was like, okay, look, you have had enough. Now tell me, what is it you want? Why are you in my life?
great. Yeah.
So these are some deep conversations. No, what I
Yeah.
realized is, I started looking back. When was the first time I probably felt a physical pain? It doesn't have to be because of the condition. Um,
Hmm.
Pain happens when, let's say, when we were young and when we fall down, then we are in pain. So
Hmm.
it's basically our body's way of giving us a signal that something needs care.
Hmm.
And it's the same thing that happened with my condition also. There were lots of things happening within my body. The pain is just a symptom. So my body was trying to tell me, look, there's so much happening, I can't handle it, I need you here.
Hmm.
And I wasn't there with my body, I was everywhere else. I was with my
Okay.
work, I was with traveling, I was god knows doing, I was everywhere except for with my body. And I don't know if you had a chance to read this one thing that I had written quite a few years back, but I started being very grateful to my body, because it, no matter where I had left it, I had left it to its own, on its own. And I had been doing other things. I've been overworking and all of that stuff. But my body never left me. And even with all the times when I neglected it and I ignored it, it kind of just, and at one point it started screaming at me, which was through the pain.
Hmm.
And it
Pain.
was like, do something, do something or you're just ruining your life.
Oh,
And it was a
yeah.
wake up call. So if you look at it, your pain is your best friend, even emotional pain
Yes,
is your
yes,
best
of
friend.
course, of
So,
course.
because emotionally something is hurting you, because there is something that is not okay inside of you. You're not at peace with something. It could be a past trauma. It could be your
Yes.
ability to just forgive and forget, your ability to not be judgmental.
Hmm.
Uh, and if you just look, so it's your emotional pain telling you you need to change something, and I'm your friend here trying to tell you that. So I would say, instead of asking the pain to bow down, you kind of work with the pain.
Hmm.
Ask the pain what on earth is going on. I'm not particularly great at always listening, but I'm trying. And yeah, but that really helps. And even a lot of suppressed emotions, the more you suppress, at some point it will come out.
Yes, yes. In fact, the tears which come out are the manifestation, physical manifestation of the pain that is we are going through. And I think once you start accepting the pain and start moving ahead, that process becomes a healing process.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
process is the healing process because you have understood from the pain and now you start healing and then you come out of that. And yes, it's very important that we actually, like you said, make friendship with the pain
Yeah, I
and
think
then
everyone
you
has different processes. Like, I know a lot of people told me, "Oh, you're fighting or you should fight the pain." It was just a traumatic idea for me to fight my pain. I was like, "It's in my
no,
body. I cannot be fighting
it's
myself constantly. Yeah, it's like a
correct.
battle that's on me. I'm not going to fight it." And then I started thinking, like, who am I fighting? If I'm fighting the pain, it's just a pain is just a symptom.
Yeah,
So let's go deeper. And that's why I said that, it was a huge growth for me, because the moment I moved in deeper, I realized what is it that needed change. I can't say
correct.
that I have accomplished it, but at least I know.
But yes, yes, absolutely. And I think this is how we grow because till we, like you say, till we haven't faced failure, till we haven't faced challenges, till we didn't get pain, we will not know the other side of the coin. Because everything,
Yes.
success and all these things, if you get it easy, then it is not success because you have not understood, it's not
Yeah.
success. Absolutely. You have to embrace all these things and work around it why this is happening. That's how you grow and move ahead. So it's really nice. And being a successful young entrepreneur, what valuable advice would you give the budding entrepreneurs?
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to say, and I have been saying this a lot these days, because I feel um, it's important to know what you're getting into. If you really want to be an entrepreneur, please give everything that you have to it, but still balance it, because an enterprise cannot run without the entrepreneur. So if you're going to burn out, that doesn't help. At the same time, entrepreneurship and everything, I personally feel is over glorified. And I think anything that you do, be it a job, be it a freelancing, be it consultancy, be it entrepreneurship, everything has its own merit. So it's not like something is better than the other. So you just choose what you're meant for and go for it. Uh, don't go by the glamour quotient of it. A lot of people say entrepreneurship is about passion. It is probably 10% about passion or less, maybe 5. It's much, much more about sincerity and dedication. Your passion doesn't help you when and when nothing is moving, and every single day you have to get up in the morning and still continue to do that thing. What helps is sincerity. You just are sincere enough that even when you don't feel like it, you're like, no, I will do this because this needs done to be done. Finally, I feel a lot of us, especially in our culture, we are very shy of asking for help. Please ask for help. No person, and I think that is the main entrepreneurial feel, or that's the attitude. An entrepreneur is somebody who can actually find the right person to ask for the right help and be completely shameless about it and say, I need this help. And then if you're like me, I would be like calling you like 1,000 times, say, by the way, are you helping? Till you on my face tell me, no, I'm not helping, I'm going to keep calling and say, like, are you helping? I need this.
I need help.
I
Absolutely.
need help. And to be very honest, I've seen that if you choose the right people who can, like, if I ask you for, say, some writing, because that's something that you can do, I'm pretty sure if I reach out you, and not because I'm your friend, because that's what most people, all human beings, okay, that's too much of a generalization, most human beings, they really like to give, because giving gives you a kind of joy that nothing else does, even if you don't realize it. It helps, you feel that it, you feel like you have helped somebody, you made a difference in someone's life, even if that's for a day. And hence, when you ask and reach out, most people don't help because they don't know how to help you. So if you tell them that, this is how I need your help, at least in my life, people have actually come forward and they've really pushed it forward.
That's wonderful. Great advice. Great advice. And people who are, planning or aspiring to be entrepreneurs, this is a great advice. Yes, we must, seek help. If we need help, there's nothing to feel shy of. Because I have even been telling like aspiring writers and authors about the same thing, that if you need help from other authors, don't hesitate. If you have written something and you know of some friend of yours who has a publishing house, or somebody who has, publishes articles, in their this thing, so they can always go and ask them. There is no harm in asking. And
Or even to
thanks
ask for
them.
a review.
Yes, yes, testimonials, reviews, whatever it is, it's very important. Great, great advice, Shomita. What message would you like to give everyone, especially about inclusion? Because all the while we were talking about inclusive clothing. So what message would you like to give everyone, especially about inclusion in thoughts and emotions and
Yeah.
action?
So you kind of already started it by with your last sentence. Inclusion doesn't start with policies or with infrastructure. Inclusion starts in your head, in your mind, and before everything, inclusion starts in your heart.
Hmm.
Inclusion is, I have, I've been trying to work out on a formula on how do you figure out, So for me, a test for yourself on being inclusive is something very simple. Do you assume that the other person about the other person? And that doesn't have to be about a physical thing. It can be anything,
Hmm.
also physical thing. Do you assume something about the other person, or do you actually always say that this is what I know, now I need to now go, there are lots of things that I don't know. The moment you place yourself in that zone where you think that, okay, I know some things, but there are things that I don't know and I need to ask. It can be something very simple. It can be something like when you're inviting people, And nowadays, with all these Google forms and stuff, life is much easier. Send out a
Hmm.
form that says, inviting people for like a meal or something. And I mean it even for big parties. Just ask them if they have any kind of food allergies, Now that's being inclusive. If you think, oh, if it's your allergy, your problem, you bring your own food. That's
Yeah,
that's not fun. And
never.
I am saying this like even if you're having weddings and stuff, 500, 400, 10,000 people, if you're going to do this right. And if you think it's going to take another level of work, anything worth it does.
Correct, correct. Absolutely. And inclusion includes a lot of stuff, lots of stuff. And it definitely starts from the heart. It definitely starts from the heart. So this was really, really nice, And yeah, I feel even about the pain and all that we go through, we all have the ability to heal. And
Yes.
what is actually needed is the desire to heal and not give up. And the
Yes.
desire to, isn't it? The desire to use these incidents or whatever that is happening and as you use these as stepping stones and then building yourself up over that.
Yes, a lot of people told me, "Oh, you are so unlucky, and you must have done
Oh,
terrible karma, and your parents must have done something terrible, and because
oh
they have a
no.
daughter like you." And I was like, that was actually the most difficult part for me because
That's really hard. That's
yeah,
really
it
hard.
was really hard because it's like, okay, not only is it like on me, it's also like on my family. And
Right.
then but you this is what I believe, that if you raise people asking questions, asking critical questions, it would really help them go through hardships as well. Because for me, then
Mm,
I started asking questions. I said, if I had such terrible karma, then how come I have such a supportive family? How do I have such supportive friends? There
right.
must be something right that I did in this wrong, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
they said, no, God is punishing you. A lot
Oh
of
no.
people from across religions, it doesn't matter what was their religious belief, from across religions, people would come and tell, oh my God, it's just God punishing you. And it's my critical thinking, because I am a believer. So I was like, what kind of a God is it that's so punishing? Yeah. I mean,
No.
isn't supposed to be like all forgiving and all kind? So
All these things are not about you. It's about the person talking. It
but
defines them. It's about them. It's not you. But when you are at the receiving end and vulnerable, this is terrible.
yeah, it doesn't help. But what helped was the
It
fact that
doesn't
I was
happen.
kind of raised in a way where I was constantly my parents never stopped me from asking questions. They had a hardest time because I was asking all the questions to them, but because they
Yeah.
never stopped me from asking questions, I was constantly, and that's how I also chose my first careers. Like I was into public policy, I was into social development, journalism, so I was always asking questions. So whenever people
Hmm.
told me these things, and I was like, oh, and then everybody would also say, oh, but you're such a nice person, so why you? At one point, I asked them,
Contradict.
I said, do you have a better candidate for it? Like, would it have happened to somebody else? Who else do you think who should have deserved this better than me? And there's this shift in me at one point where it's like, there must be some reason why I'm going through it. And it doesn't have to be a reason of punishment, it can be a reason for learning. So, I
Learning.
think it's the perspective that
Learning
really.
and giving. Learning and giving to others, making others'
I
life
think the part
easy
of
to, I
giving
think.
came much later for me. It was like, oh, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, but that's what ultimately that's what happened. You grew out
Yes.
of that, you learned from that, and then you are giving to others.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
I truly believe in the process where a lot of people say, don't be judgmental. I was like, but you need
uh,
some judgment, like some basic judgment. How does that work? You're
yeah,
not supposed to judge somebody and punish the person or something like that. No, everybody has their own journeys, but
correct.
what the person is doing, the actions can be judged. You don't judge the person, you judge the action. And I don't think
Hmm,
we stopped dividing that up. And I truly believe, why I'm saying that is, all the actions that we do or you do or anybody does, it all affects. I don't even know how my action today is affecting somebody that I don't even know.
Hmm.
We are all connected in that way.
We are all
So,
connected. We are all universally connected. Yes.
exactly.
So it was so nice talking to you, Shomita, and it was absolutely wonderful. And I really loved this conversation. Shomita, before closing my show, I normally have a small game. It's
Oh,
called the rapid fire round.
okay.
Okay,
Those
so
are
it's
the
a quick
scary
fire.
things. Yes.
No, no, they're not. They're fun. They're fun. They are not scary. So
Okay.
I'll just ask you. They're really fun. They are not related to whatever we discussed. It's just like closing
Okay.
on a different note, right? So
Okay.
I'm asking, like, I'll start.
Hmm.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Success or happiness?
Happiness.
Facts or fiction?
Both.
Okay. Quick temper or controlled temper?
No temper.
Ah, that's nice. Alice in Wonderland or Robinson Crusoe?
Alice in Wonderland.
Ah, hope or faith?
Both. I mean, hope gives faith, and faith gives
Okay.
hope.
Comfort or style?
Comfort. Comfort.
Okay.
And they don't have to be
Flawless.
exclusive of each other. That's the whole thing my brand is working on.
That's the reason. And because it's a brand, that's why I asked another floral or stripes,
Each their own.
each their own. Okay. So it was really, really wonderful. Thanks for sharing your life journey and inspiring my audience, Yomita. And thanks for your valuable presence and message to the world that no
I am
matter what
happy that you
challenges
got
you
me
face, you never
on
give
the
up.
show.
Pardon?
Yes, it's so much like you, right? You also never give up, and I've been thinking about this since you invited me. That it will be so good to talk to a friend who is also an author like me, who also doesn't give up like me. So it's going to be a fun conversation, and it was. So thank you.
Yes, it was very relatable. So many of your messages, I was kind of relating to those, about never giving up, about accepting whatever challenges, whatever pain comes, because we learn and grow from that actually. And there's a lot we can do. And I want to thank everyone here, all my audience, all my listeners here. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Success Psyche for their support. And thank you, Shomita, for being here. Have a wonderful weekend and wonderful weekend to everyone. Thank you, Ifunania. She says hello. Ifunania is
Bye.
from Lagos. Yes, hi. And I want to thank everyone. So, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for being my show. I'll see everybody again next at my next show. Thank you, Shomita.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining in. See you all again.
See you. Bye.